Good morning. Good morning. If everybody would like to come in and take their seats and come and join us, then we'll get started. So my name is Dr. Deborah Fitzsimmons, and it's my very great pleasure to be the undergraduate chair for the School of Health Studies. And it's wonderful to see so many of you here today. As the Dean said, this is the highest attendance that we've ever had for a full preview. So it's very exciting for us to have you all here today. And I said it's my privilege to welcome you all, and I firmly believe that, because I'm sure if I went around the school and asked any member of our staff and any member of our faculty, they'd be only too delighted to stand here and tell you about our school and the program, because we really believe that this is the finest health studies program in Canada. And many of our faculty are here today. They're doing the guided tours, they're doing the presentation at the amatorium, so you'll get to meet quite a few of them. So do feel free, ask us questions as you go around. As I say, we do believe that it's the finest health studies program in Canada. And what I wanted you to believe, I want you to go away from here believing that as well. We want to be your #1 choice when it comes to university and for the program as well. And what I'd like to do is just read you a brief excerpt from an email I received only last week that says, compared to my peers during my master's program at the London School of Economics and the flow of interns I see through the World Health Organization, the Western Health Studies program definitely sets students apart with a great academic profile that's relevant and translates well into the workplace. We would be lucky to have Western students here. And that's from a lady who is a former student of our program who is now a consultant with the World Health Organization. So when you hear that they're giving us these plaudits for our program, that's why they've just offered an internship to one of our 4th-year students who's going to be starting there, working with them for 3 months, starting in January. And that's just one of the exciting international opportunities that we can offer. We have our brand new leadership program, our Leaders of the Future initiative. And for this year, it's the first year that we've run it. We're going to have several students who will compete for this opportunity, who will have the opportunity to go to the Leadership of Healthcare National Conference in Banff in June. And we'll also have the opportunity for students to shadow key individuals. One of them is the Executive Director for 3M Healthcare in Canada here in London. And they think this program is so important that the Executive Director is prepared to have somebody shadowing him, finding out what it's like to be a health leader in the field. So we're looking for the best and the brightest, and that's why you're here. And in return, we can offer you lots of opportunities. We can offer you, as the Dean said, faculty who bring their expertise and their passion to their teaching. These are national award-winning faculty who are there, who we regularly hear how they enthuse their students and engage them. They're involved in cutting-edge research, which you may have the opportunity to not only read about, but later on you may have the opportunity to help support. We have lots of research opportunities as well. But finally, as the Dean mentioned, one of the things we're known for is innovation. And do make sure that you get the chance to go and see our 3D amatorium upstairs in room 322. If you stand outside, even if you don't get in straight away, stand outside and listen. And the first word you'll hear from everybody's face when this thing starts up is wow. And it's one of the things that a lot of us on the faculty say that I wish that they'd had that before. And can we go back and can we take the anatomy class again? Can we actually sit in on the class? Unfortunately, there isn't enough space to do that. It's unique in Canada. It's a really exciting, innovative technology, and that's only one of the things that we can share with you today. So do take the chance, go and take a look. So whether you know what your intended career path is, whether you know that you want to be in medicine, whether you want to go to medical school in the future, or whether you just know it's something around healthcare but you're not quite decided where you want to go yet, this program can help to get you there. We have people that have gone on to medical school, that have gone on to a whole variety of programs, from the allied healthcare professionals, health administration, to the business side of healthcare, through to health policy, public health, a whole variety of streams. You're not channeled into one particular discipline. So whatever your interests are, we can actually get you there, and we'd like to be your first choice to help you along the path. So with that said, I'd like to hand over to my colleague, Professor Andrew Johnson, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the rest of the session this morning.
Thanks very much. My name is Andrew Johnson. I teach in the School of Health Studies, and the course that I typically teach is undergraduate statistics. So I thought, I see a couple of you cheering inwardly, and thank you. That's exactly the expression I will probably see from your children when they come to the class. But I thought it would be appropriate that for our warm-up today, that I present you with some statistical thought. So I might date myself here a little bit, but do you remember a game show called Let's Make a Deal? Anyone show up? Yes, yeah. You remember that? Okay, so just imagine that you're on a game show and your only task is to choose one of 3 curtains. Behind 2 of those curtains, there is a goat. Behind 1 of those curtains, there is a car. And we're going to assume, for the purposes of this example, that you want the car and not the goat. Okay? My daughter's here with me today. She's probably thinking, actually, I'd much rather have the goat. Thank you very much. It would be soft and fluffy. But you want the car. Okay? So right off the bat, just practical probability here, what's your chance of getting the car? And this will be important later. I just hear murmur, murmur, murmur. If I mumble low enough, then maybe he won't actually ask me what the specifics are. Yep. 1 in 3. So you have a 1 in 3 chance of getting the car. Now, those of you that are familiar with the show, what does Monty Hall usually do next? Right, but first he opens one of the other doors and says, look what you didn't get. It's a goat. So right away, you're thinking, I have a 1 in 2 chance. Well, hold on to that thought for a second, because he shows you one of the other 2 doors and he says, do you want to keep the door you've chosen, or do you want to switch? So my question to you for the warm-up is, should you stay, or should you pick the other door? Or does it not matter? We're just going to do a show of hands. We're just going to do a show of hands here because I don't want to put anybody on the spot. And I do this example on the first day of classes in my undergraduate stats class, and so don't feel shy about this. Okay? Hands up if you think you should stay. And when I say should, I mean that you think your best chance of getting the car would be to stay. Hands up if you think you should stay. Hands up if you think you should switch. All right, and the third option, hands up if you really don't think it matters. Okay, fair enough. I can't actually take credit for this example. This is a classic statistical example because it's actually an example of counterintuitive thinking. Okay, so those of you that said it doesn't matter, are you saying it doesn't matter because the chance is always going to be 1 in 3 of getting the car? Hands up for that one. And at this point, some of you are thinking, he wouldn't still be talking if it wasn't counterintuitive. Okay, so most people will say, yes, the chance is still 1 in 3. How about, it doesn't matter because your chance is 50-50 either way? Okay. The point of this warm-up is really that the correct answer doesn't really matter. I will tell you the correct answer. I won't leave you in suspense. That would not be an appropriate thing to do today. But the important thing here is the thought process that you go through in coming to this. One of the things that we hope to do in the School of Health Studies is to provide you with an opportunity to develop critical thought and to think through things in a systematic and process-driven kind of way. And that's a really important skill for you to have. Every year I do the Ontario University Fair and I answer lots of questions. I probably have seen some of you at the Ontario University Fair. And one of the number 1 questions that I receive, and it's an important one, is what jobs does this prepare me for? And the answer, if we're being completely honest, is we don't know. And that's okay. You want us to not know what specific job this prepares you for. Because to be perfectly honest, the job that you're going to want 5 years from now hasn't even been developed yet. It doesn't exist because things are changing that quickly. You want us to provide you with the processes and the tools and the critical thinking capabilities that are going to allow you to launch into that job when it's developed. Okay, so the correct answer is you should always switch. Should always switch. Your best chance of success on this let's make a deal is to always switch. And I'll tell you why. If you think about the fact that he showed you one of the goats, okay, that means that there is only 1 goat left, and it means that the only way that you would lose by switching is if you started off by picking the car. And what was your chance of picking the car in the first place? 1 in 3. So the only way that you would have lost in that example would have been if you had initially chosen the car. You would have had a 1 in 3 chance, which means you have a 2 in 3 chance of winning whenever you switch. Okay? We could probably go a little deeper into this metaphorically and say that it's all about change and this is all part of healthcare. But I'm just going to leave you with the idea that the key with all of this is that it's not necessarily the answer to the question, because I can see by the murmur after I said that some of you still don't believe me. It's not the answer, it's actually the process that we go through to get there. And that is one of the things that we think is the hallmark of the School of Health Studies. It's giving you the tools that you're going to need in order to be able to launch into that career that doesn't exist yet, that we can't specifically prepare you for because we don't know what it is. So we prepare you in a very general way with content-specific information in health, because hopefully you're interested in health, and the rest of it is going to be part of the process. And to tell you more about that process, I'm going to introduce Nicole, one of our academic counselors, and she's going to give you some of the specifics of the program. Nicole.
Thank you. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Nicole Sansone, and I'm one of the academic counselors for health studies here. And I'd just like to echo Deb and Andrew by saying welcome this morning, and thank you so much for coming out. I've got a lot of information to get through in a short period of time, so you're welcome to ask questions at the end, and we will pass around the microphone. This is another option. So you can email your question in to us, and at the end, Jess, with his fancy iPad here, can let me know what some of your questions are, and we'll try and get as many answered as possible. Of course, we'll be out in the hallway after the presentation as well if you do have any questions then. Just please don't ask me about the goat and the car. I'm not going to be able to help you much with that. So seeing as we're here for health studies today, we wanted to start off by giving you, going over the basic anatomy of a health studies degree. So this is just sort of the basic structure that's going to make up your 4 years here as a student. Okay. So there's a bunch of classes. These are the courses that you as a health studies student will be taking throughout your degree. You can see in your first year, the first line there, you'll be taking courses in personal determinants of health and social determinants of health. So this is looking at health with regards to the individual and then the society as well. In second year, you can see a bunch of courses there. So you'll be taking courses in child and adolescent health, and health related to aging. You'll be taking health promotion, ethics. There's an anatomy course as well, and with that I'll give one more little plug to our 3D anatotorium. I feel like you need a health science degree just to say that name. So these are the times here that we're doing some of the demonstrations today, so make sure you get a ticket and go up and check that out. Like Deb said, it's first of its kind in North America, really impressive. The 3D virtual reality theater lets you really get immersed into the human body. So check out that, one of the presentation times there. See if you can get through the presentation without someone commenting on the fact that this is just like that episode of Magic School Bus, where you went into the body. Okay, back to the classes there. Third year, you get your exciting methods and statistics class. That's when you'll finally figure out what Andrew was talking about this morning. There's a health policy course as well. Now, one way to kind of customize your degree, so like the human body, there's your basic structure, and then everyone's going to be a little bit different as well. So there's a lot of chances for you to customize your degree. And one of the great ways to do that is with the fourth year option of doing an independent study or a practicum. So I know this is a little ways away for you, but this is a chance for you to actually complete a practicum out in the community, a placement that is related to a field of health that you're interested in, or a one-on-one research project with one of our outstanding faculty, and this will count as a credit towards your degree. So the flexibility of the Western degree really allows for a lot of different combinations of courses, and so we have quite a few electives in health studies as well. You can see just a list of some of our courses there. So if you're interested in a career in law, take our healthcare law class, maybe the ethics course, leadership, courses like that. If you're interested in delivering services to an aging population or rural communities, there's courses that are geared towards your specific interests, and you're going to find them here in this faculty. In fact, that's what I'd argue is one of the main strengths of our program, is the fact that it's interdisciplinary. So what that means is you're going to be looking at health through a variety of different lenses. So you might study the science of health, or the psychology of health, the sociology of health. I have a sociology degree myself, And when I started here, I noticed a textbook lying around on the sociological perspectives of health. Really interesting stuff, medicalization of society and the impact of socioeconomic status on health. So if you told me 7 years ago when I graduated that I might be reading a textbook for fun now, I don't know if I'd believe you, but there's a lot of interesting courses there for you. You can also take courses from other faculties. So maybe you want a kin course that we don't offer in our health studies program, or one of those sociology courses, MCAT prep. Anyone thinking of writing the MCAT, you can get those science credits still within the health studies degree. So speaking of that, anyone here thinking of going to med school? Yeah. What about the Ivy Business School? A couple law? Okay. So once you're in those programs, they're going to teach you everything that you need to know to be a successful doctor or business person or lawyer. So you want to make sure in your undergrad, your 4 years here, that you're taking courses that really interest you. Partially because that's going to get you the grades you need to get into those competitive programs after, but it's really going to give you a more kind of diverse foundation that's going to influence what kind of a doctor or lawyer or business person you become. All right, so Ken's going to talk to you a little bit later about career options, so I won't go into that too much, but suffice to say, like Andrew was saying, there's so many careers out there that you don't know about yet or that don't even exist yet. And so one of the things about an interdisciplinary program is we're really preparing you for what's out there and keeping doors open rather than setting you on a really specific track that you can't really step off of. So your first year here is going to be a fairly general year. You don't need to worry too much about making decisions quite yet. But as you go on, you might choose to specialize in an area of health that is of particular interest to you. So these are some of the modules that we offer within the health studies degree. So you'll see we've got our general health science at the top. If you're really interested in taking some of the more science-related courses, you can do the health science with biology. The community rural health development combines our health studies program with Fresh's community development program. There's the health science with Ivy, which I mentioned before. You can focus on rehab science, health promotion. Again, this isn't to overwhelm you or make you worry about what you need to choose right now. Just giving you an idea of what comes after. The options are there. I think it's a little more important at this stage probably for me to give you some information on how to get here in the first place though. So I'm sure with those first 6 or 7 slides we convinced you all to put Western as your #1 choice, health studies, on your application. Let's talk about what you need to do this year to get here. All right, so as with every university program in Ontario, we're looking at your top 6 grade 12 U or M credits, including what one course? English, yep. So your English grade 12 U course we're going to take. We're also looking at your grade 12 university level biology course. And then you'll see we also want 1 grade 12 university level math. So you've got your choice between calculus and vectors or functions or data management. Doesn't matter, we'll take the best one you have. Okay. You'll see on the list there, so we're going to be looking at English, biology, math, and then your next top 3 courses. Okay? You'll see chemistry is recommended. So just to be clear on that, a recommended course is just that. It's recommended. It's not required. There's never going to be a situation where we've got 2 applications and one student has chemistry and one doesn't. We're choosing the student with chemistry. It's just for your own good. And the reason we recommend that is that a lot of our students do want to go on to that health science with biology module or take the chemistry course as preparation for MCAT, and you need to have the grade 12 chemistry for that. Okay? High academic standards. So I hope this doesn't come as too much of a shock to anyone that our admissions cutoff last year was an 84.5%. So it's actually up a full percent from the year before when it was 83.5. And once you're here, your first year courses. So we mentioned that everyone's going to be taking those personal and social determinants of health. And then the other required course for first year students is biology. So that leaves you with 3 elective courses, which gives you a chance to try out courses from other faculty, some of those other ones that I was mentioning earlier on. A lot of flexibility for you to kind of try some things out in first year and not have a sort of path set in stone right from the beginning. Okay? These options are what might spark a passion for maybe a minor that you want to complete or a career path that you want to go in. So I'm going to pass it over right now to my colleague Kent Robinson, who's our other academic counselor and career counselor as well. And he's going to talk to you a little bit about some of the options for things you can do during your degree and after.
Okay, thanks, Nicole. I just want to point out one quick thing there at the bottom of this slide. As Nicole was saying, you get 3 electives in first year. One of the big things that you get to do as a student in our program, and most programs at Western, is you get a real opportunity to have a flavor of experiencing all of Western, and that includes the affiliates. Nicole comes from Brescia before she came to our program. I come from Huron before I came to this program. So we understand the benefits of the affiliates. We have a lot of students interested in affiliate programs like food nutrition at Brescia or Center for Global Studies at Huron. So when you're in first year and you're choosing your electives, don't forget you're not just choosing electives at Western, you're choosing electives potentially through the 3 affiliate university colleges. So it's just something to keep in mind that when you're here today, the affiliates actually have their presentations in the afternoon. So some of you thinking about opportunities there, you're here in the morning and then you may head over to Brescia or Huron or Kings in the afternoon and get some more information. So I just wanted to reinforce what Dr. Fitzsimmons had mentioned at the beginning about our professors. There are some of the friendly faces. You already saw a couple friendly faces, and Professor Fitzsimmons and Professor Johnson. These are some more friendly faces that you're going to have an opportunity to interact with as a student in our program. Most of these professors that you see up here are core faculty that teach the big courses that Nicole went over there, the senior courses in first and second year. So there's professors like Dr. Zecevic, who is one of our aging experts, booming area of health. Lots and lots of opportunities with that aging population. So she does a really amazing work in some of her courses, and she actually won an award, her gerontology and practice course. It's a 4th-year course opportunity that students have in our program. And these are students in her course going out in the community, working at retirement homes, and doing really interesting research. They did such a great job a couple years ago, they won a local pillar award, beating out some really stiff competition in the community. So there's some really amazing opportunities if you have an interest in the aging and gerontology area. There's Professor Burke, who you will see in first year. She teaches one of the first-year courses, the Personal Determinants of Health class. And she's very interested in issues such as childhood obesity, breastfeeding, health promotion. You can see some of her research interests there. So you're going to get an opportunity to see her right in first year, and she does some really interesting work in research. And as a senior student, you may work with her in her lab potentially. She even takes grad students. Maybe actually graduate and work with her at the graduate level one day. Dr. Kirkwood, very popular prof in second year. He teaches our core ethics class. So he has a lot of interesting research that he does related to ethics, and he has a very popular drug use class, brief history of drug use that relates and is very popular with our students in 3rd or 4th year. Dr. Cramp is also a professor you're going to see in first year. She now teaches our social determinants of health class. She's one of our newer professors, and so you can see some of her areas of interest. So I could go on and on. I just want to give you a flavor of some of those professors that you're going to get to know. What's great about our program is we're a smaller program. We have about 1,200 students overall right now. So right from year 1, but especially in the senior years, you're going to get an opportunity to interact and meet and engage with your professors. Not only important for yourself and your self-awareness and knowledge, but every program these days is needing some good solid reference letters. And you get a chance to get to know those professors really well sometimes and use them in a lot of different contexts. So what I wanted to showcase now, kind of go in a little more detail, what we kind of touched upon already, about what are you going to be able to do with this degree. Our program is a feeder program for a lot of students. They start in our program and are anticipating using our degree as a foundation to go on to some kind of professional or graduate school opportunity. So what we like to do is profile Erica. She graduated 3 years ago I think now, from our program. And she was a typical student who I saw a lot of hands raised, probably could have been a few more. We usually get a lot of students thinking about something like medical or dental school when they start. Erica was certainly one of those students, thinking on her course selections or things like first-year chemistry, where she kind of had that on her radar. By the time she came to 3rd and 4th year, trying out all the different classes, including the Center for Global Studies at Huron, taking some interesting courses there, she ended up deciding that she was going to go a different direction. So by the time she got to 4th year, she ended up applying to international graduate programs. And as was mentioned earlier, she ended up working and doing a master's degree in international health policy at the London School of Economics, a very prestigious school, and she used that to get an internship with the World Health Organization, and now that's where she's working. So we actually profile Erica. Hopefully everybody, if you haven't yet, make sure when you leave today you grab one of these copies out in the main lobby area. We profile Erica under the health study information, the 2 pages near the front, Erica's profile. And what we do with this booklet, which is nice I think, is we actually showcase Erica's course load over her 4 years. Nobody here would do the exact same courses Erica would do, but you get a flavor of those required courses and some of the electives that Erica did over her 4 years, and you kind of get a sense of how you can put together your health studies degree and maybe kind of have a similar outcome as Erica did. So it really is a future of choice. As Dr. Johnson said, there's a lot of things that are going to be created that are new. Who knows where you're going to end up? But right now, a lot of students and parents are thinking of things like medical school and physician. So you can see up in the top right corner, that's where the main area of a lot of our students are at least thinking when they start, whether they end up there or not. Coming in and thinking of things like medical school, respiratory occupational therapy, speech-language pathologist, chiropractor, so on and so forth. The alternative medicines and naturopath and osteopath are getting very popular as well. But as you can see around there, tons of different opportunities. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be those key areas at the top. And there's some very interesting career paths that you can get out of your degree here. You don't necessarily need more advanced training in future school and professional graduate level. You may come out and work as a public health planner, medical assistant, health safety coordinator. That doesn't necessarily need more training potentially, depending on what you're trying to do with that. So that's just a flavor of some of that future of choice, where you could use this degree, why people love our degrees. It's so broad and interdisciplinary. Some people want more of a focus. You want to start in med sci first year because you're pretty set that you want to be going to med school one day, and sometimes that's good for certain students. Our students really love the broadness of our degree, the interdisciplinariness of it, so that, like Erica, you can start thinking something like medical school, but it opens up so many opportunities that you may go in a different direction. So because medical school is on the radar, we realize there's so many students, and often you're doing a comparison between our program and maybe programs like medical science at Western, life sciences at places like Guelph and McMaster. On that document that I pointed out, you'll actually see at the very back, we have a what's the difference chart. Just a quick little chart, but it gives you a bit of a flavor of some of the differences between our programs. So what we try to point out, as you can see, I know it's hard to see this writing up here, but just to quickly point out, effective in September 1st, 2011, the med school here at Western actually has added and developed courses related to what we're already teaching at the undergrad level. Courses in healthcare systems, epidemiology, medical ethics, population health. A lot of that stuff we're already covering at the undergrad level, and now they're adding that on to their training in the actual med school program. You're going to see, if you do your research, anyone in this room thinking of med school and likely going to write their MCATs one day, you're going to likely write it in 2015 or beyond. And they're changing. You can Google this and get more information later about the changes if you're not aware of it already. But you're going to see that the new MCAT is getting, the new med school program is getting a makeover, the MCATs are getting a makeover, and there's going to be less of a science focus and more of a focus on things like personal and social determinants of health. So it's really interesting. We're getting a lot of interest from students. We've become a limited enrollment program in the last couple of years. The demand is very, very heavy. A lot of students are coming from science programs, wanting to come into our program, finding out information like this and thinking maybe that we're a better fit for their potential career outcomes. So what we do is we profile some of our recent alumni, and Amanda is a great example, someone who graduated last year, is now at Western's medical school program. She used her degree to get to medical school. Now what you can see with Amanda, which is great about our program, is she was great with academics, no doubt about it, but she was very active outside the classroom as well. And that's not just our program, that's all of Western. But you come to Western, you come to the School of Health Studies, you're going to get tons of opportunities to work and do extracurricular activities like Amanda did, working as things like a LAMP mentor, peer leader, Gold Girls Initiative, so on and so forth. Anyone thinking of professional graduate schools, whether it's medical school or whatever, you need to be more than just the academics. Yes, you've got to have good marks, but you also got to have good things going on outside the classroom. So Western actually has a new co-curricular initiative that you can look into more, where students now are able to graduate and get a complimentary transcript that shows the co-curricular aspects of their degree beyond the academic side of it. So it's a really neat thing. A lot of other universities are doing it as well. Western's got on board. It's a great idea. So Amanda certainly was doing a lot of great things to move on. But medical school isn't just at Western. That's one of the 6 in Ontario. There's also medical school options all throughout the world. So this is just the past 2 years where some of our students have gone on to medical school. So it's not just here in Ontario. You can see they're going as far as the Caribbean and Poland to go to medical school when they graduate. So all those options are there with that health studies degree. I think what's important though is to showcase that medical school, it's a great option and it's a fit for a lot of students, but there's so many other fits out there. So what I'm just profiling in this PowerPoint slide is just summer 2012 graduates and what some of them have been doing. That's just 1 year. I can give you lots of slides in a whole bunch of different years, but this is just from summer 2012 graduates. So graduate master's programs, people like Alyssa at the top there, ended up using our degree and going overseas to Ireland and doing a healthcare ethics master's degree. People like Ian went over to Queen's University and did a health promotion master's degree. So all this is just a flavor in the US, in Canada, some of those master's programs that some of our students go on into once they graduate with their undergrad degree here. Therapy-related programs, very common. Probably beyond med school, that's the next choice with a lot of students when they start here. They're thinking the therapy programs, occupational, physical, respiratory, radiation, so on and so forth. There's a lot of therapy programs out there that may be of interest to you, and here's some examples of summer 2012 graduates and where they ended up. Other professional programs, audiology and speech-language pathology is very popular right now. You can certainly go on and do a teaching degree. Health studies isn't a teachable, but a lot of our students often go teaching at the elementary level where teachables is not a requirement. Law, nursing, dentistry, so on and so forth. Lots of other professional program options beyond medical school. Post-degree options, getting to be a very popular combo where students come out with their university education and then supplement it with maybe more of a hands-on, what they often call these post-degree continuing studies or college diploma programs. So there's some of these are actually here at London, like the Occupational Health and Safety Management Program through Western Continuing Studies, or chiropractic programs at DeVille and Buffalo, so on and so forth. Some really neat programs out there that exist. A lot of those you probably even heard about. I don't know if anyone's heard of Child Life Studies at McMaster. So there's some really neat things that are coming out. Physician Assistants, a newer program at McMaster that some of our graduates have been moving on to. And then, of course, another big question as a parent, wondering, you know, you're making this investment in your son or daughter to come to Western potentially. Can I get a job without more costs in education? Yes, absolutely. You can take a health studies degree and go directly into international and local internships or direct employment. And here's just some examples of some of the opportunities our students have received just with their basic undergraduate degree. And you can see, again, they're going all over the world, Uganda and South Korea and so on and so forth. So again, like I said, that's just summer 2012 graduates, some of the neat things that people are doing. So what we wanted to make sure to do, and this is working out great, we wanted to have about 10 minutes at the end for questions. So what do we have up here in this last slide is just the contact information for myself or Nicole. Anyone, parent, son or daughter, are welcome to follow up with us at any point. Email us, call us. If everybody could just stay quiet for 10 minutes, we want to make sure we have an opportunity to have some questions answered. We'll be done by 11 o'clock for sure, so just need about another 10 minutes of your time. And if you have any questions, you can either raise your hand and Jess will walk around with his microphone, or hopefully some have been coming in through. Okay. Maybe we should bring that slide back up at the first one.
You can do that.
Yeah, okay.
If you wanted to email a question, it's fhsdo@uwo.ca if you're more comfortable that way, and we can pull them off my tablet and I'll read them out for you. So does anybody have a question?
Thank you. I just want to know if you consider any volunteer experience or work experience for averages if you're within a certain percentage?
Unfortunately, we're not the only, but Western's basically overall looking at your average right now. So as Nicole mentioned, we're looking at your last 6 credits, which includes the math, the bio, and the English. It's really a market. There's just so much demand for programs now, including ours, that we're getting so many applications. We just unfortunately can't be looking often at that other stuff. It's really just a mark-based thing right now. But there are certainly some programs at Western and other places that will look at some other stuff. But ours right now is really just an academic standard in the last 6.
I know that chemistry is not a prerequisite. However, if you want to do the one with biology in second year, it becomes a prerequisite. If the student doesn't know yet what area they want to specialize in, would it be a good idea for them to take that chemistry? And if they do, I heard that it's extremely, extremely difficult. The failure rate is quite high.
Yeah, it's a requirement. Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's a great question because we do get that a lot. And what we do is we offer, at Western in our program, we offer summer academic orientation sessions. So if your son or daughter is accepted to Western and they're coming to our program, next June or July, you're going to come here, maybe to this room, this building, talk to people like me and Nicole in person, and we'll help your son or daughter pick their courses in first year. Part of that big key question that they always ask is the chemistry one. And that's a great question because what happens is that you may be a superstar in grade 12 chemistry, maybe not, I certainly wasn't. But no matter how well you are in chemistry in grade 12, it's a different beast here at Western. So you got to be careful, and if you take grade 12 chemistry trying to keep your options open, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to jump right in and do first year chemistry in first year. What a lot of students are doing now, which I think is smart, is they're holding off and doing chemistry maybe the first summer after their first year, maybe second year when they're now more adjusted to Western and understanding the expectations and stuff. So chemistry can be done at any point. It doesn't have to be done necessarily in first year. Senior courses and things like organic and biochem, again, can be done in later years if and when you need it. But we have a lot of students who haven't done their research, take something like chemistry, not even sure if they need it or really want it, maybe struggle with it, and then look back in third and fourth year and say, wow, what was I didn't need chemistry. So, you know, there's people like me and Nicole that are available to assist your son or daughter to make sure we give you the right kind of information. It's always ultimately their choice, but it's a great question to have in mind and see. But ultimately, if you do our House with Bio program and you need chemistry, technically you're supposed to have the grade 12 chemistry completed to be able to move on to the first year chemistry here at Western.
And just one more thing to add to that, if you're worried about grade 12 chemistry at all, if you take that chemistry course, and I mean that'll then kind of leave your doors open, right? But if it's not one of your top 6, then we won't use it, right? Because it's not an actual prerequisite for the course. So you can take that, and then if you've got 8 courses, then we won't use that chemistry grade to figure out your average and see if you're admissible. So don't worry about it kind of making you not eligible for admission here. It doesn't count against you, no. It'll still count as part of your cumulative average here at the university, but yeah. Exactly. Right, yeah.
Of the top 6 URM courses, are there any courses that are weighted higher when you make your decisions?
No, we would look at all the courses equally, and if it's night courses or summer courses or anything like that, they're counted equally. You don't get penalized for having taken something in summer school.
Sorry, I have a few questions, if that's okay. One of them would be, I understand that the 6 courses is required, I guess, in grade 12. I'm assuming the GPA is like overall of all these 6 courses, right? Mm-hmm. And does it matter if one of them is taken in the private school versus the public school?
As long as it's at an accredited institution, it'll count.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. And then we talked about a lot, I guess, about the MCAT and preparation of the student in these courses for those exams. What about the dentistry school? I know that there are some, I guess, dental aptitude tests as well. Is it something in the school that prepares the student for that?
Yeah, I mean, they can take all the intro courses or like any of the courses that will help them prepare for that. You can take those as electives as part of your degree.
Okay, and those 6 courses in the grade 12, is it like, doesn't matter if it's 2 one semester and then 4 in the other, or it's just like?
It doesn't matter when they're taken, as long as they're grade 12 U or M level courses on your transcript.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
A question via email. Is it beneficial to take calculus?
Yeah. I assume you mean in grade 12. Again, it's going to be sort of like the chemistry. It's not one that's necessarily recommended, but it's a course that a lot of students do take.
One of the reasons why a lot of students end up taking the calculus course is because it's considered, they've been told that it's a better math and a higher level math. I can certainly speak from the perspective of the person, as I mentioned earlier, that will be teaching the stats course in second year, and that is in many ways one of the reasons why you take the math, to prepare yourself for those statistics and methodology courses. I actually think that finite math, or I think it's now called data management, is a better preparation for statistics. I also think algebra is a better preparation for the level of statistics that you do within the program. So I typically do recommend data management or algebra for students that are taking the course to prepare themselves for those kinds of courses that you take within the health sciences degree. Calculus does prepare you very well for physics, though, and calculus is an excellent course for some of the demands within the physics courses if you are planning on taking physics.
How many students are admitted in first year?
300. First year is about 340.
And how many applicants do you commonly get?
Around 2,000. It's about 2,000 applications.
Okay, thank you.
But we are a very, very popular program, so that's why we always encourage you. If you're thinking about health studies, sometimes we hear, well, the school says, well, if we get into Western, you can switch in your second year. As we've heard, this is a limited enrollment program, and the problem is that we get 2,000 applicants for 340 places, so we are overflow, we are full. And the students do progress, they do go through to second, third and fourth year, so that we don't have a lot of spaces available for students. Unless somebody decides they want to switch to another program for their own personal reasons, we don't have a lot of spaces available in second, third and fourth year, so it isn't always possible to switch into our program, even if you have stellar grades. There may not be those possibilities. So we do recommend, if you are thinking about it, put us down as a high priority in your assessments when you're choosing which universities and which programs that you're interested in.
I just have a related question to that, a process question. So when the students are choosing what universities they want to go through when they go through the online system, after hearing today's presentation, tough not to make this the first choice for sure. But let's just say it was choice number 2. Does that ranking go against the application process for the student at all?
No, it's not something that's considered when we're looking at applications. It's really, we're honestly just looking at the grades. That's all that it is, yes.
Another question from via email. Are online courses treated the same as regular courses in terms of application grades?
Again, any course that is a grade 12 U or M level course and it's taken at an accredited institution, it will be counted the same. So all those courses are kind of weighted evenly. There's no penalty points for taking a course in a different.
Okay, and I'm just going to, there's 2 more here. Final marks for first semester or midterm marks?
It depends what time you're looking at your application. So applications are due, I think, is it January 16th this year? Yeah. So at that point, we don't have a lot to go on. So there's a smaller round of offers that goes out of early admission in February. At that point, it's really just based on your grade 11 marks. And then in March, we'll have a larger round of offers that goes out then. At that point, we've got your first semester grade 12 grades as well as your grade 11s. Just to be clear, grade 11s are never going to harm your application. It's more just, if you've got really strong grade 11 grades, they might help you. And then the final round of offers that goes out will be in May. At that point, again, we still don't have your final grade 12 grades. So it doesn't mean that you can stop trying at that point if you do receive an offer, because all offers are conditional. So in July, when we get your final grades, we will be going over everyone's application again and making sure that you're still eligible.
I can just confirm the numbers for you from last year. In September, we had 2,659 applications that we received for our program. 1,612 offers went out. We accepted and had 340 new students walking through the door this fall. So that's the highest number we've ever accepted onto the program.
Just to be clear, there's no supplemental application, right? You just send in your transcript.
Okay, that's right.
Just a question about your conditional offers. I've heard in the community that when the offers come out, sometimes there are benchmarks that students must achieve, for example, in the predetermined prerequisite courses such as biology or the advanced functions. So for example, if their average still is within that ballpark, but let's say the biology or the math fall below, let's say 70%, are there certain benchmarks in the conditions?
I'm not familiar with that myself. As far as I know, and you can check with conventions maybe to be sure, they're in another location on campus today. For this program, it's just, you still need to meet that 84.5, but there's no particular grade we're looking for in any particular one of those 6 classes.
Of the students who are trying to apply into the Ivy program, partway through to get the double degree, what percentage are successful in doing that?
Great question. I mean, Ivy, it's an expensive degree, so it's not for everybody. I mean, it's a very interesting degree. I mean, it's a combined degree where you're basically getting 6 years of education in 5 years. You're getting your 2-year HBA and a 4-year honors house science degree. So on average right now, we're probably getting about a half dozen students every year that try and get into the combined program. So you're applying in second year like you would for any Ivy program, but instead of just applying for Ivy HBA on its own, you're applying for the combined program. So your first 2 years of house studies carries forward, your 3rd year is just at Ivy, and then 4th and 5th year will be a combination of Ivy and health studies. So you're ultimately done in 5 years. And Ivy's really pushing the international opportunities. I just had 2 girls graduate instead of June in the fall that finished the combined program because they were busy overseas doing an exchange, one in Singapore and one in Norway. at the end of their combined degree.
One more web-based. What average do you need?
Jess, can I just jump in there very quickly about that?
Okay,
about
I'm just trying to get through as many as
I'm
possible because we're almost done.
Yep, it's just the fact that we do offer an awful lot of health business programs within our own school, so it isn't necessarily a requirement to actually do the joint program with Ivy. So we do have a lot of things around emerging technologies, innovation, a lot of business courses, so that may be one option. So you can do a lot of those within our school. You don't necessarily need to go out and do Ivy. If people are thinking about doing that from the third year onwards, just be aware that it is a very intense program. You do have to take additional credit, so you are taking additional courses, and just be aware that that puts extra stress and strain on you as an individual taking those additional courses as well.
And a couple real quick. What average do you need to maintain in the program to stay in it?
Right now, we're basically looking at least around a 70 average for most of our programs. So there's some programs on campus that about a 60 in first year is enough. And that always sounds easy. When we say those averages, like I'm coming out of high school with low 90s, mid, high 80s, that's going to be a piece of cake. It's not necessarily. First year is a big adjustment for a lot of students. So, the marks can go down for a lot of students, not necessarily down to the 50s and 60s, but, a lot of students do drop a bit from high school. So you got to be aware of that. And because we've become limited enrollment, those minimum standards that used to be in maybe the low 60s have now gone up more into the low 70s as a first year average. And again, I know that probably sounds fairly easy from what you're used to in high school, but it is a little different here. So you just got to be careful when you come back. It's not necessarily a walk in the park to get a 70 average in first year. The best students who study hard and work hard are going to get those averages, but the ones who come and get distracted too much with some of the more extracurricular fun stuff can maybe see their marks suffer a bit more than they want to. So that's why people like me and Nicole are available to assist students and try to keep you on track and make sure you're taking your academics seriously, because living away from home for the first time is a big adjustment. We totally get that, and there can be a lot of distraction.
So we're running out of time now. In fact, we've run out of time. So what I'd encourage you all to do is a lot of us will be outside at the Health Studies desk, just by the door near Tim Hortons. Come and talk to us, bring your questions, and we're happy to answer them then.